Hello there, my name is American Jedi, and I am now also apparently an attorney. Have I done this before? Yes, I have. Am I good at it? Anyways, as far as I know, we are going back in the past. I don't know much. We're gonna find out as we play. Press any key to continue. New game. Heyo. Actual cutscenes.
After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
You're shot
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Wait, is that me? Am I gonna be defending myself? Hold up. Bienvenue à la Carnival. The Adventure of the Great Departure. Episode 1. Alright. 22nd of November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants. Antechamber 5. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond that doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry. Yunosuke Naruhodo. Naruhodo. Wait, isn't that like... I don't remember what the saying means in Japan. In Japanese. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I know people like... Isn't it like I see? Like, oh, Naruhodo. I forget, fuck. This is where my weebness doesn't help me out, I guess. Just that, like, I know, I've heard it before. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. Oh my god, the names are gonna murder me. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? What? He's CGI'd? Oh my god! I need to move myself now so you can see this beautiful man. I think we get a better idea of how I can set up my camera now. Okay, we're gonna be somewhat small and down here, because I don't think they're putting up the names on the right side so far. It's all been on the top left right here. Anywho, let's keep going. A lawyer? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though, I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume, university professor murdered in cold blood by student. But Obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asuki, my best friend. Also in his second year at Yumie University. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, at least yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. I'm proud to have you as a friend, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yeah, that's when all this started. Hey, congratulations, Kazuma! It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud, as a friend. There's not a soul in university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean, to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire, huh? Wish I could see it too. Then come with me! We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little while longer. Yeah, good idea. After all, it's not every day you get a visit to a high-class Western restaurant like this. I'll see you in English class tomorrow, then, partner. Oh my god. I just feel like Kazuma's about to get murdered. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Azuki, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. What kind of voice would he be? Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense of this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I have seen him at university before. He's probably the principal. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. I don't like the way he's taking me, like... Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in courtroom. Yeah, thanks, Kazuma. Dot 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 dot. This is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Nodohoro, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yumie University. Professor Mikotoba? I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma's studying of abroad. Asugi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, as I understand. He talked about me? As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asuki's been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never be granted again. What? As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asuki may have chosen not to tell you. He agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand, once proceedings get underway. Then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that can lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asugi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as a defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lays ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. 22nd of November, 9 o'clock a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, courtroom number 2. So this is a courtroom. Snazzy. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, you'll need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. I know that man. I don't know that man. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there's one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question Professor meant. But then, if I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? You know, let's just say it. I'm just gonna wing this bad boy. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. That's homie right here. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that Ryunosuke Naruhodo will be defending myself. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything, just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me, huh? You think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that, really. It's just that... Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really? Objection! Objection! Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for mere university soon to be brought before the Supreme Court. He must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you're no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So let's start with the very simplest of questions. Yes, kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous, I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of E. If you ever find yourself forgetting something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just had to press E for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. There we go. List of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with E. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press Z to go back. Okay. We get Kazuma Asogi, 23 years old, a second year at the Imperial Yumiei University. He's my best friend, and despite being a student, a qualified defense lawyer as well. Yujin Mikotoba, 42, medical school professor at the Imperial Yumiei University. He's an authority in forensic medicine and Kazuma's mentor. Taketsuchi Aochi, 51, the lead prosecutor of this case, who would appear to have little love for the changes the Cultural Reformation has brought about. And John H. Wilson, the victim of this case. He was a visiting professor of medicine at Yumiei University from the British Empire. John H. Wilson. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the People section of the court record, then press R to present it. Try it now.
Yes!
Yes! Bro. Yeah! The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was visiting professor from England, invited to Yumiei University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you are well aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yumiei University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. You're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yeah, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. I did it, actually. Camera. Oh dear. Look at the time. I'd better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Yeah, good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. I'll see you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Wow. It's incredible to think. Wait. Is that... I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a professor visiting from England. From Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still. I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table. And introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, Let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of his death. The cause of death? Well, obviously, that was, Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows Professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. Post-mortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body.
Yes!
Yes! Well... According to this document, and the victim suffered from a... What's that? Hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Yeah. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a policy officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, Counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. If he was shot at such point-blank range, wouldn't the bullet most likely pierce through? Must have been a highly low caliber. I feel like even 9mm would most likely do that, though, right? I'm no gun expert, even if I am from Alabama. I've only shot a few guns in my life. But I feel like a 9mm's penetration power should be able to do that. It's like when you get to the 22 calibers, when it's like, there's no puncturing power at all. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I'm satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Oh, certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes. Clearly your defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Cosimo Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Cosimo. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats already. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control that cold stares first. How's it flowing like that? There's no wind in here. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I'm the head waiter at the Western-style restaurant called Le Carnaval. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southern-eastern quarter was developed by foreign visitors some years ago. It became a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago. Understood. Osanaga-san. I said that so English like... Osanaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Perspiring, maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question, with few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it too. There was hardly anyone else in the place at all. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an Englishman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Yes! Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him. Objection! Objection! I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections, young man. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But... The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. Just give it time. For now, we must just quietly listen to the defendant, to the witness. Ugh. If I may confirm one point, Peter, standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today. Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite of him at the table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still. What should I do? We interject, baby. Yes! Yes! Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table. Objection! Dear me, dear me. What are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard of court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Osanaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like. Let me see. A sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. Let's get to the restaurant's layout is on the back. His business card. So, the court has now heard a precis of the case. Yes. At the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. Let's check out that card real quick. Oh. I need water soon. Jesus. Let me see this real quick. Examine it. Whoa. We can't look at the other side, though. I feel like that's the most important part, personally. Let's look at that gunshot. I kind of like... The magnifying glass is kind of cool. I just wish that it would actually like define things a bit more. Like you could read the wine bottle. Things like that. It's a nice steak. Interesting that he hasn't been able to eat it at all. Also interesting that he turned his chair completely around. Interesting. Can't really see much info about the room itself from there. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in court in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you're determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Bro, really? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it too. Professor Mikotoba said it. And so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? The accused is in fact innocent. Then the defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Oh, look at him go! I don't even need to be in here anymore, just my hand. Then we'll see how decisive this evidence really is, boy. Very well, then. Prosecution Ouchie, please continue with proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, the dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witness. Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Iesa Nosa. Reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasu-te, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Curio Gurukuta at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always past noon, and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer. It sounds like he's a regular at Le Carnaval. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets Le Carnaval because of its high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right. I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. Did I just hear like a baby crying? What was that? This man's as impossible to understand as the other. I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. Like a baby crying, what the heck? So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening, huh? The soldier's claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yeah. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You'll state everything you saw, the precise moment that the incident occurred. Yes, sir. That was a child. What the fuck? Standing by, ready to report, sir. Unsavory memories of the most acerbic afternoon. Witness testimony. 2 at once. What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beef steak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Tactical. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's action with my own eyes, and I have a child with me behind my back, which is why my hand's there. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. I was on my hands and knees, investigating the whereabouts of my mysterious, absconded curious curio. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, I actually witnessed the vital moment itself. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. Yes, yeah. This is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes. All I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. You didn't hear the gunshot? I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... Oh, okay. Second gun. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now. As we heard, Your Excellency, there's no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. Closed book case, I must say. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly. The testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands the right to cross-examination. Dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaka headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination? Objection. The defense is asserting its right to do a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier has said has to be a lie. Well, yeah, but it's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is in the evidence. Right. The evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. Alright, then. It's all or nothing. Cross-examination time, baby. What the witnesses saw, I know where to do this. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a technical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was exploring the virtues of particularly fine golden carrier to the military gentleman. At that present moment, a fire was charged. I observed the enemy's action with my own eyes. A black female watching from the back, the cannon and the whistle. Oh, you lying bastard, take this. Sir. Got you. What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? I'll toss in some photographic print in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves that, beyond a doubt, Your Excellency, that there's no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. Could it be more plain? To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Yeah! Cosmo, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Noza. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed a crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
Yes. But no! That just can't be!
Why not, cadet?
Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness's statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is obviously a discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it?
Get down, small child.
What was that? Huh? What? Something just... What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he just pushed it down again. Certainly. They're just clear to... Your voice is right now. Clearly, there's a discrepancy here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Noza?
Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the fire and discharge, my eyes were child firmly fixed on the delicious carnival steak, sir.
What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Noza, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There's no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. He said the name of the game! Oh!
But I definitely saw him. The university did that. He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes, but I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either, then?
Myself, I've already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure.
Treasure?
Indeed, the Holy Arakoban, my prized coin. And each occasion when I visit the restaurant,
It is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest for my shop, Rasute. In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you? On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my whole treasure. Excuse me. I believe that he would purchase such a rare find. I did not, but I was presented with a later alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The crowbar vanished. Hunting around under the table, I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. Bam. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed, I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoey treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoey coupon was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. As I'm sure everyone present is aware, the case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness's testimony to the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Alchi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. Oh, really? Bro. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could have possibly committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.